This is my motorcycle. This is my 2008 BMW R1200 GS, and we have been riding partners for the last year, ever since I got back from Africa. So some of you have asked why I'm riding the motorcycle I'm riding currently, and what have I done to it? So what I need the motorcycle to do is to fill specific missions. And the mission for this bike is I'm in the United States. It needs to be very comfortable at high speeds on the interstate. But more than that, it also needs to be capable for when I'm doing adventure training and tours. And this bike does a really good job on both sides. Maybe it's not the perfect trail bike, it's not the perfect touring bike, but it's a great middle of the road. It's an old 2008 BMW R1200 GS. Why an older bike? Well, frankly, when I got back from Africa, part of my decision was how much money was left in the bank account. And this turned out to be a real bargain for that. The 1200 has a very long track record for reliability, and those things it may have issues with are well known and easy for me to fix on the road. So that's how I ended up on this one specifically. Now, the process of selecting a bike is what really is key here. And I already mentioned a few of those. One is it has to be able to do the mission that I needed it to do, which is highway and the training. The other thing is I want to make sure I have enough distance. So I'm looking for fuel economy and tank size, so I don't have to get fuel when I'm off-road, and so that I can do the longer tours. I'm looking for comfort, so both for the standing comfort and I'm looking for sitting. And that's going to be different depending. This bike just happens to fit me very, very well. So I've had to make a few modifications to make it more mission capable for the specific needs, most importantly for the off-road capabilities. And the first thing is protection, because when these tip over, if you damage them off-road, you're a long ways out there. So I started with the belly pan. I put a heavy skid plate on it. It's a heavy bike, it deserves a heavy skid plate. I put a lightweight set of tip over bars. The heads do a pretty good job of stopping the bike. And I put some hand protection on it to protect the levers. Those are the essentials, the bare minimums for any adventure bike going off-road. A couple other small extras I put on were a guard for the headlight, so if a rock is kicked up. I use this for tours, which means I'm riding with other riders, so the likelihood of getting something kicked up is a little greater. And if I end up out after dark, I had some extra lighting on it. The other thing is I need the bike to be more comfortable when I'm standing on it. So what I did for that is the handlebars are rotated up and adjusted, and then I put a set of large foot pegs on it so that when I'm standing, my feet don't get as fatigued. It gives me a better perch on the bike. So other than the protection and the comfort factors, this bike is almost completely stock. Reliability is number one, and the more things I change, the more complex the bike gets. So my upgrades have been for suspension. This is running the TourTech Extreme suspension, both front and rear. That gives me extra ground clearance off-road. Also, that allowed me to adjust the springs so it'll support any kind of luggage and extra weight that I have with me. The tires on this bike today, traction's a little limited, so I'm running some large bike knobbies, both front and rear, and those tires change depending whether I'm doing interstate in the summer when traction's good or if it's in the winter like this. And the one other neat little addition I put onto this bike, I do carry a winch on it. I occasionally teach a class called Mission Impassable, where the whole goal is to go out and get stuck and to learn how to get out of it and the riding skills to get out of that. So that's kind of essential for my job, and because I ride solo a lot, it's a nice piece of insurance. So those are the basic things I do to my bike, and that's how I ended up on an old R1200 GS.